everybody. Welcome to another episode of GameCorp. This is the one and only gaming podcast that you will ever need. I am your host. Once again, my name is Matt Hedrick, and here with me, always delighted to be here, is Mr. Chad Porto. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing about as good as I can right now. Just isolation is so much fun.
Well, not with the people you. Well, one of the people you're with, I'd imagine.
Believe it or not, it's not like the whole screaming like, "Oh my God, they're driving me crazy," like you think it would be. It's actually brought us together, and we are actually enjoying it. It's good.
Lies.
No, I'm not lying.
The damnable lies.
You believe what you want. This is what I believe for me, so you can take it however you want.
Lies. So,
Living in denial, apparently.
yes, you are. So, I see we're talking about all the things that neither one of us care about. Specs. The fuck cares about specs? GameStop. The fuck cares about
I'm
GameStop?
You're a dick, but anyway, a lot of it is
Do
just
you care about
every.
GameStop?
Here's the truth: a lot of everything that's happening around right now is all surrounding one thing, no matter what you look for. You know. So that's the thing that's the thing that kind of sucks, is that news other than a full reveal of one console and another is kind of limited right now.
We still don't even know what the goddamn PS5 looks like.
It's ridiculous. It
I
would have been 3 months out from presentation. We still don't know.
I swear to God, I bet you it's gonna look just like the PS4, but with like blue trim. It really feels like PlayStation's phoning this one in.
I mean, it's almost kind of telling, like, are they really struggling to even make this thing or come up with a design that like makes it work right? Because it seems like they're doing a lot of testing and not really getting a finalized product yet, you know?
Could this be the end of the PlayStation? Bom, bom, bom. Probably not. So we're reviewing Destroy All Humans, one of my favorite games of all time for the PS2. I'm trying to remember when it came
It's
out. It came
awesome.
out in 2005, but I can't remember if it was fall of 2005 or spring. Let me double check. It was
Okay.
the summer, so I had just graduated high school and I played this thing for the first time.
Well,
Yeah, it was the first game I ever
that
played
must have been
before I went to college.
oh man, that must have been a trip.
Oh, it was. I fucking loved it. I didn't like the original voice work because it was a lot more like aggressive and scraggly. But when they started to go with the whole Jack Nicholson kind of thing,
Oh
Nicholson,
man,
one of those, right?
you had to write Jack Nicholson.
Okay. That was when it really started to get peak for me. I love the dysfunctionality of the entire race. It's oh so fun.
This game is just so fucking chaotic, and it's amazing for that.
So I ended up buying it on the PlayStation Store. Destroy All Humans. And I got it because they're doing this sale right now. And this and the original, I think, were priced at like $5.99. I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw that RE2 like year end edition was fucking $24.99. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I saw that Doom was $9.99. I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to spend $50 on the game. And then I remembered, wait, I got a gift card from you. Don't remember from when. I thought I used it already. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's just find out and see if there's anything left on this thing. And I put it in there, and it turns out there's a full balance still. I'm like, oh, I'll pay $25 for 4 games. I'm very much that frugal. So I ended up only having to pay essentially for Resident Evil 2. So I got 4 games, and I haven't finished downloading Doom yet, truthfully. But
Oh damn.
I'll get to it eventually. No, I paused it. I wanted to watch some stuff, and then I just keep forgetting to download it while I sleep. But Resident Evil 2 has been a hoot. I can only play it in like 40-minute increments before I have to turn it off and compose.
Scares you that much, huh?
Not scare. It doesn't scare me. It makes me anxious, and I don't like being anxious. Like once I get
Oh,
out,
the unnerving feeling. I got you.
yeah,
I
once I
got
get
you.
out of the police station, I'm fine because it's more
Mm,
linear and there's less things to kind of chase you. It's only when I'm
mm,
in the police station with Mr. X coming for me that's when I feel it. And the one thing I will say is I think they almost did themselves a disservice. One because when I was playing as I'm currently doing a second run with Jill. I walked through the one corridor where in the original the liquor first shows up and like nah, but in the remake it isn't there unless you play Jill's version, I think, or at least the second run version of Jill. And I walked in
mm.
there and I'm worried about Mr. X because I accidentally activated him early. So I'm like looking around, looking for him, and then I just see a tongue over my head. I'm like, oh, I just walked underneath the liquor.
Oh shit.
So I'm so cautious about not running into Mr. X that the liquors are essentially a non-factor anymore.
So your environmental awareness was kind of like getting away from you, then essentially.
Not yeah, but that's not even the point. I was and
Mm,
no, because I was focusing dead set on where Mr. X is because he's the real threat, and because the liquors
mm.
can only see you if you run. Fuck it, they're a non-threat now. So I'm like, oh, all right, that's fine.
I was gonna say
Whatever.
you can't even really kill. You can't kill Mr. X, right? From what I remember.
No, not until the end, and that's only if
Okay.
you get the giant rocket launcher. I don't know where the grenade launcher
Okay.
is for Jill, so I know that's not going to work on him. The other thing that I realized that they really should have done, and it really pisses me off. When I was growing up, I thought anything big and awful and ugly looking was a tyrant. So with Birkin,
Mm,
you know, when the game first came out in '98, I thought that was a tyrant. It
mm.
wasn't, you know, but I really think that Resident Evil missed an opportunity to have a tyrant Birkin battle. Get some kaiju up in this shit. Because Birkin's like this giant-eyed monster with this just grossness, and the tyrant is this trench coat-looking motherfucker. And I, you know, the two of them fighting each other would have been fucking fantastic. We get like a little brief moment when Birkin implodes the tyrant's head in Jill's run through,
Mm.
but you know,
Yeah.
that's it. There's no throwdown. And one of the Resident Evil animated movies did something where it was a group of tyrants versus like an entire horde of lickers, and I'm like, that's cool-ish. But it would have been cooler if it was like a big BWOB or whatever the hell they're called versus a tyrant. Like that's what fans are here for, man. We want to see that throwdown.
Mm.
Behind every horror fan is a fan of kaiju big battles. Let's throw down the big monster work. So let's talk Destroy All Humans. Firstly, I
How
don't
can you
know.
not love this game? I
I
love this fucking game.
I don't know if what's his name, Crypto. That's not right. Matt.
Something I was gonna say crypto. Crypto doesn't sound right now.
No, that's the name of Superman's dog. I guess I'll look it up. No, I don't want to go to the official website. Wikipedia. The setting. Oh, it is crypto. Where the Furon crypto saprodium is tasked by his superiors to gather Furon DNA locked inside human brain stems in order to save his race from cloning themselves to extinction. So his name's Crypto, named after Superman's dog. That can't be an accident. He arrives on Earth and he's tasked with one mission: kill all humans. Now, the thing I love about this game is you can handle it a multitude of ways as the game progresses and you start to get more powers and you start to get a better understanding on how the game plays. You can do it just all upfront battle, or like you can like
Mm.
sneak into humans and like fuck with them. It's all a lot of fun. It's a very varied game in that regard. Not necessarily at the start of it, but as the game progresses, you can treat this almost as a stealth-like game at times, anyway.
Well, yeah, to a point, because you can possess like the bodies of people, I believe, right? Like almost like not possess, but make you can hologram them in a sense. So that's kind of the stealth aspect.
Well, you can also, I thought, enter them at one point. It
Well, I
might
only
be in
played it for about like
sequels.
2 hours, so that might be after what I played. So
Well, you can do quite a varied number of things to kill the humans. Humans. That's how the Ferengi say it. Humans. I think one of the things that really drew me to this game is when I saw the trailer. I was at a buddy's house, and they got. I don't know if it was called G4 at the time, because this is '05, but it was essentially if G4, whatever the channel would become. And they were playing like this long list of music trailers. Like, oh, this game seems interesting. And then I saw a MTV2 used to do this thing where they would take video games and would make music videos out of them. And Destroy All Humans was actually done with a God, who was it? Sum 41. That whole I try
that's
to be
weird.
perfect.
Wow.
Here's Crypto singing along to Sum 41 as he's walking through the woods. I think there's like a fair or the hell's it called? A circus in town. It was the
Like a
trippiest.
carnival.
No, circus. That's the word I was looking for. And he's walking
Okay.
away from it all distraught and upset because he's like, because it's supposed to emulate the music video. So it's I saw that, I'm like, all right, what the fuck is this game? And I went and picked it up from my local Blockbuster. And to this day I'll never forget fucking watching Crypto sing "Pieces" by Sum 41. And it's one of the funniest fucking things ever. And it wasn't the first album or first music video that I saw do this. There was a Good Charlotte song that they did. I'm actually gonna see if I can't find it and send it to you. It's one of the trippiest things I've ever seen. The show is called Video Mods, because obviously gaming mod.
Yeah, I got you.
What's it called? Hang on. So here's the video mod for it, and it's one of the crazier things I think I've ever seen. In fact, this might even be better than the game footage for now. So we're going to show some of the video mod.
Oh man.
So it's basically just clips from the game. I'm not sure why. But the other one I remember watching was a Dark Watch video mod. You ever played Dark Watch?
No, but I think you've told me about this, haven't you?
Yeah,
That you found a music video.
What's that?
I think you've told me about this before. That you found like a music video for this one too. I didn't know about the Destroy All Humans one though.
Yeah. Dark Watch had one too, and I think maybe we'll do Dark Watch eventually, because this was another game I played in '05. '05 was a good year for gaming for me. Really
Seems
was.
like it.
Some of my favorite games were in '05, and I don't know why. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 came out in '05.
Now, did this series did it have 3 games or was it only 2?
There was 4 before the remake.
4, okay. Because I remember there was one on the 360, but I don't think it was just called 3. I think it had like some kind of subtitle on it or something.
Well, there was Destroy All Humans 2, Make War Not Love. There's Destroy All Humans, technically 3, called Big Willie's Rampage, I think. And then there's a fourth game.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Then there's a fourth game. I forget what it was called, but it was essentially Crypto taking on a bunch of other aliens. I didn't play the third or fourth games. I don't really know why. I didn't. So it's definitely one of those series that it cracks me the hell up, because I'm a fan of like 40s and 50s horror films and sci-fi films. So this is right up my alley. Because
it's straight up references all of that shit.
Oh yeah, it's set in the 50s. At least the first game is. And it has all types of 50s music. Now, I don't know if the songs in this are original, or if, like, with Fallout, they used other, like how Fallout used music from the actual 50s. I don't know if Destroy All Humans actually used actual music from the 50s, or if they just used songs and created songs that sounded like they're from the 50s. So it definitely has a unique vibe to it. That's one of the reasons that drew me to it originally, because it was such a ludicrous backdrop. Because in the 50s, alien invasion movies were kind of an allegory for the creeping of communism.
Mm.
And a lot of them were like, foreign invaders, who can you trust? Same idea of communism. So it was very much a horror genre in a lot of ways. And it's one of those things that I think really stood out in terms of how they presented the gameplay. Instead of it being straight up horror, like, oh my God, they turned it on its head, and they started to really mock it. And it really, the whole genre, the whole decade really got mocked even harder when they went to the 60s in the sequel with Crypto's disdain for hippies.
Oh God, I got to get through the first one. I want to see that.
Metal Gear Solid came out in
Um,
'04, late '04, by the way. So a good 12-month span, technically, for me. Metal Gear Solid
oh
3 in
yeah, I can definitely see
November,
why,
Destroy All
especially with this game,
Humans.
man. Awesome.
Dark Watch came out in August of '05. So like those 12 months were super solid for me.
I think
So,
what I love about this game in general is just so fucking crazy. There's just so much. There's so much style and over the top aspects to it, and I love all the little propaganda things it throws at you, like a politician that's just fucking like keeps trying to pander to the crowd, and you have to answer correctly in order to, get through the mission or something, or make them believe you. It's fucking ridiculous.
and that's part of its charm and glory. It is full on ridiculous. There's a fart gun essentially. I'm not a fan of the poo jokes, but I'll tell you what,
Hmm.
a lot of the weapons in this game are hilarious. I think you can
Like the
kill
anal
people with
probe.
Yeah, you can kill people with cows. I think I think
I've
in,
done that.
I think in one of the games there's a cow gun. I
Oh
think.
Jesus.
Don't quote me on that. Part of the fun though
I,
is of course playing in Crypto Spaceship.
oh my God, yeah, that is so much fun to just wreak havoc and destruction. Oh my God. And I think what I like though is more doing the stuff on the ground, like all of the crazy things you can do with the gun and stuff like that. That's probably my favorite, and how you can use like what is it, PK or something like that? Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
like psychokinesis, where you can pick up things? I was just picking up random shit. I would make cows like dance as distractions and stuff. Like this game is just fucking absolutely ridiculous, but I think it helps it, because if you just made this a standard action game, all the charm would be gone. So having these little references and things in here really keeps you engaged with what's going on. That's what I completely was digging about in my playthrough.
This game has a lot of destructible environments. For its time, was very unique. You could do a lot of
Mm.
things with the environment around you. Some I very much enjoyed. One of the other best parts is the comedy. Obviously, on screen you just saw that you could read someone's mind. You can extract thoughts from them, and the shit that you're
Mm.
gonna end up reading that these people think and say is just downright hilarious. The original, I think, cannot be surpassed. I'm looking forward to the remake because they might just do it. But the sequel, in my opinion, wasn't as funny, but maybe had better gameplay. But the first one has a charm whole onto itself, and I think it's commendable.
Oh yeah, read it. They really go for it with the dialogue, man. I just kept randomly walking around just to read people's minds. And what I appreciate too is that there's a little bit of strategy involved with that towards gameplay, because in order to keep your stealth disguise up, I believe you have to keep reading minds so that your hologram doesn't fade back to you. And I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty cool, solid mechanic. And I really want to see how that plays out in like future stages. Maybe mess more with it or something. But it was really fun.
So the graphics for this game, I think at the time were spectacular. The one gripe I'll have, but I won't count it against it because of just the simple nature of the limitations of a PS2, is that they did
Mm.
the fog effect. When you're in a high dense period plays like with cities, You'll get like a fog effect, maybe, half the distance from where you are to where you are in other places. Like if you're in the forest, you'll have a much better view, but if you're in the city, it'll be half the perception almost. Which is a common trend for these kinds of games, limiting the graphical output. It's a very daunting task to have a really robust game on the PS2. And it was a thing that a lot of games kind of relied upon. So that distance effect wasn't completely destroyed. It's something that I'm not gonna harp too hard on. It's just a thing that I noticed that the remake will probably end up dealing with. But as far as the design of the game, everything about this works. Crypto's little designs are very emblematic of how the 1950s depicted the aliens as little gray people. I thought that was cool. They gave him a cool little spacesuit. Like all the ray guns and all the shit, like the flying saucers, that's all 1950s. That's all just straight nonsense, and it's absolutely adorable, and I love every second of it. So I'm definitely a fan of what I got to see from Crypto. The houses and the people are very 1950s. Suits everywhere. Those big dress hoop skirts, I think is what they're called. Very, very 1950s. Very fun. So I'll give it a 5 for design and graphics. It's not the most polished game. Even for the time, I thought it was lacking a little bit of polish. But considering how depth and expansive this game is and how much you get to see and do and explore, you can understand why certain limitations did pop up from here or there. So I think it definitely deserves a score of a 5 just on design alone.
This game just it oozes charm, and I think that's its biggest strength when it comes to presentation. Is that while there's parts of it that are simplistic and limited for the time, a lot of that stuff shines through in just how you interact with an environment and the different things that you do. And I love the design. I love the design of Crypto. I think it's amazing, and I love his little running animation and stuff. It's hilarious, and I also. This game is just so corny, and all the little different animations and things that happen. One of my favorite things, like graphics wise, and this is just a subtle thing, is when you get the disintegrator gun and you start going around and shooting people with that thing, and they like literally evaporate to bones.
Mm-hmm.
That shit blows my mind. I'm like, this is done on the PS2, man. That's pretty fucking impressive for PS2. And oh man, the rest of it too, just so much charm just oozes out of this game. And like I said, limitations for the time, it's fine. You have to understand where things are, and I saw the same thing too. Now, you're talking about like do you think that would have to do with like environments loading, like with fog? Was that kind of what you were?
Yeah,
talking
they're
about?
trying to limit the strain on how much the I don't know what component it would be, the CPU of the PS2 or the graphical limitations. They're trying to limit how much strain it would have to do to prevent lagging and that whole situation where it starts to clip on the screen. What is it? Not screen rate. Clip rate. What the fuck is that called? Video
frame rate.
Frame rate. Yeah. The frame rate drops out after a certain point when you have too much bogged down on the CPU, and they were trying to obviously limit that. Like we just saw it here. There's a sequence where you're flying over a field. And if you were in an actual spaceship looking down at the ground, or a balloon or a plane or whatever, all this shit would be visible. But for the game, you don't see it until you're on top of it for a reason. It fades out and fades in to save on rendering. So that's the one thing that I think it suffers from, but that's more of a console issue instead of a game issue. Now, you could argue that the game should have kind of foreseen that and adjusted to it, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it works as is, and I don't think having things pop in and out of sight as you move is really the worst thing.
Well, I think you're trying to keep it trying to keep the game in a functional state, not a visually impressive one, because those don't always go hand in hand for the bet. Like when you're representing gameplay, I think.
No, you're right.
And Yeah, and that trade that I would personally prefer the trade off of things working and being slightly less, graphically impressive than it looks great, but I can't fucking move, or I can't see anything, or the game just doesn't function as a whole.
I agree.
But I totally enjoy it. I think this game is fantastic, and graphics wise, I'm going solid 5, no question.
For the sound, you gotta like a lot of the '50s. I think there was even some rockabilly, at least later on in the game, if I remember correctly. But most of the music is very atypical, like doo 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 doo, kind of like alien music. And then of course there's those 1950s based songs, be it straight from the era or made to sound like it. If you're a fan of that stuff, or if you find it charming, it's for you. If you don't find it charming, or if it's not for you, you're not going to enjoy it. For me, I thought it was great. I thought it gave it a nice specific ambiance, but I don't know if I would say that anything about this game was wholly memorable. So I'm going to give it a 4, even though I did enjoy what they were going for.
I really enjoyed it too. I think my favorite trade-off in like sound in the sound department here is more with the dialogue and the voice acting and things like that, as opposed to like the music maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I I love the tongue-in-cheek stuff, and a guy who it's Crypto's boss. I don't know what the guy's name is, but that dude's done voice work before. I'm familiar with him. He was part of the Skylander series. He played the villain Chaos in Skylanders. So the first thing I thought of was that as soon as I was playing it, and I love that dude's voice, and I think he makes a great villain in this case. And it was all the other ways people were talking. They were playing up the roles so tongue in cheek, so cheesy, and everything. And to me, that is where it would get to me to the higher score. The music is fair. It's good. It sets tones right with whatever the setting is, but it's not particularly like memorable or anything. So I think I'm going to stick with a 4.
Okay. Gameplay. Gameplay is fantastic.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say about it other than it's kind of one of those things that you need to experience on your own. It's a hell of a lot of fun. There's a multitude of ways to go through a level. It kind of pitched itself as The Last of Us, but without having The Last of Us marketing. Because one of the big things about The Last of Us when they started to promote the game is that the whole thing was you can complete this game any way you want. Multitude of ways to go about finishing missions. I mean, there wasn't, but but I appreciated that. Like, yeah, you have to kill all 12 guys, but you can kill them in any 12 ways you want. And it's like, all right, still have to do the same thing, but that's essentially what Destroy All Humans is. There's a multitude of ways to do all the missions in this game, and there's a multitude amount of there's a great variety of backdrops too. So it's definitely, as far as the gameplay goes, it keeps itself interesting enough, and it keeps itself unique enough that each level, even though similar, it still feels a bit different. So I'm going to give it a 5 because I don't see how you could have done more with the gameplay for a PS2 game.
Yeah, variety is really the spice of life in this game. Like, there's so many ways to tackle things that I love it. Like, it's not just your straight running gun. You have to really be careful sometimes with what you're doing. Like I said, with the whole hologram thing, that was one of my favorite parts. Or actually using characters or objects in the environment as distractions in order to, complete your objective. Or or the other part where you have to give a speech, things like that. Or my personal favorite is, at least the one from what I played so far, is jumping from rooftop to rooftop of a neighborhood and bending antennas to get propaganda to go into people's televisions.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? But charming nonetheless. So yeah, I have no problems with this gameplay. The moment I got some of the other weapons and I started messing with them, that's when I had so much fun with this. I literally just kept screwing with things because I was just having a blast. I started losing sight of the missions pretty much. I would just go on rampages. But that's what's so great about it. That's what's so fun about this game, is that it's just fun. It's just simplistic fun. And you don't get too many games like that anymore. So for me, this is 5, no question.
The main boss guy's name is Orthopox 13.
Orthopox 13. Okay.
Nickname Pox, Poxy, or Holopox.
Oh man.
So next up is, what are you giving it? 5, 4?
Yeah, 5.
Next up is Fun Factor. I mean, it's a hoot. You know, from the dialogue to the voice acting to the designs, the music. You know, it's an all-in-out hoot in my book.
So that, no question, is a 5 then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, same, dude. Yeah, I love games that are simplistic fun. You know, like I don't have to overly think what I'm doing here. I can just sit back, grab a controller, and just get into this world and do whatever you want with it. And that to me is the best way you can have fun with a video game. So for me, 5 easily, no question.
Plus, let's not forget about the jetpack.
Oh man, that fucking thing. I wish it had a little more oomph to it. I'm not gonna be honest, because there's some situations I like to get out of at like the 3 bars. Like it's like fuck. I wish I just had just enough more to get over it. But it's still cool.
So you're giving it a 5?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So for me, the one thing that I will say about this game is I've never found it all that difficult.
No.
I can't say that I died once when I originally played it, and I still have yet to die on my replay. It's not a hard game, but I think that's almost part of the enjoyability is that it's not supposed to be about being difficult so much as it is enjoying the environment and getting to do all these things as almost an omnipotent being. It does have some challenges, but I've never thought that for as good as the game was, you know, the one thing I never thought about this game is that it's hard. You know, I think about it being fun. It's worth your time, but if you're like a hardcore gamer who like only plays Dark Souls, you're gonna hate this game. Like you're gonna absolutely hate this game. But if you're more about looking for an experience, looking for a laugh, looking for Leisure Suit Larry of Aliens almost, this is what you're after. But as far as challenge goes, you know, I have to dock it some because it's not hard. But it does have a bit of a challenge, and the missions do require some, even if it's a monochrome skill. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
I like the fact that you compared it to Leisure Suit Larry. That just seems like the perfect comparison in terms of like challenge in a game, you know?
Well, and it's also there's a lot of jokes about him getting laid. Especially in the sequel.
Yeah,
I remember the sequel at some point he goes, what was the line? He says something extent like, "Next time I need to not have an all-day orgy before I start killing things." Or something to that effect. Like he's very much a lush and a pervert, and I love that about him. But yeah, it's not a hard game at all. Nor is it a long
time the entire time I hear, yeah, it's not long either. No, like I got through about 4 or 5 stages in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
you know this ain't gonna last very long. So you said 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'm kind of in that same boat. I think the only thing that could possibly even be remotely difficult are like the time challenges, maybe to a slight degree. If you don't kind of tackle it the right way, because I know in the antenna thing I had to try it a couple of times because some of the parts of it were spaced out a little bit. But that doesn't mean it was like incredibly hard. Just once you figured it out, it took like 2 times. But yeah, other than that, no, this is not a game where you're going to be like ripping your hair out and trying to figure out what to do. You'll know what to do flat out. You'll breeze through this game.
Yeah, this is not the Dark Souls of Alien games.
Oh man, this is a game that I could beat. So yeah, that says something. So let's see, score. I don't want to dock it too low though. So I think it is in the middle. I think it's a 3.
Okay. So we scored everything the same. That means that it's a 22 out of 25, which means that it just fails to reach our Hall of Fame status at an 88%.
Oh man, that's a shame.
I think it's a fair score, though. As much as I would like this to go into our Hall of Fame, the one thing that I have a lot of fond memories of this game. I really do. But this is a scoring of graphical design, sound design, the enjoyability, the effectiveness of the gameplay, and whether or not the challenge is adequate to the response that you're asking for. And at times, I felt like this game was way too easy. And that's just from my historical perspective. I don't think that way about Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't think that way about Dark Souls. Ugh. I don't think that way about Mega Man. But the one thing I think about with Destroy All Humans is that it's a cupcake. It's made to be enjoyed, not to struggle. But if you look at it in the sense of, is that its point, is that its goal, made to be enjoyed, then it nails that. If it's made to be a struggle, no, this isn't Resident Evil 2 where you're running from X gonna give it to you. DMX. Mr. DMX to you. No, it's not
Mr.
hard.
DMX.
Right? It's not that hard. There's no puzzles. There's nothing that really makes you think, oh, geez, it's going to be a hard one. But I think that's also part of its charm. So I definitely have fond memories, and I still have fond memories of it. It's a great game to play. But I do feel it misses just that little something extra to be a Hall of Fame worthy game. And this is one of my all-time favorite games. So,
It's just nice to see us doing a review of it, though. I like that it's one of your favorites. We get to delve into that for once. We don't do it too often.
No, because most games I play suck. They piss me off. But also,
no, I like getting an interesting perspective on you, because a lot of the games you like are slightly weird and different in the terms of their tone, and that's why I like choosing some of your games, because it gives me a different perspective.
And that's kind of where for me, I like really different games than a lot of people. And I got to finish this text real fast. My friend just started watching The Mandalorian. She's like, now I understand the Baby Yoda obsession. So the one thing that
everybody loves Baby Yoda,
right? The one thing I love about specific games is that if it has a unique vibe to it, a unique feel, something that stands out from the hoi polloi, I'm gonna be drawn to it. Same with movies. I'm not necessarily looking for Citizen Kane, and I'm not really gonna settle for The Waterboy. I'm gonna settle for something that I think speaks to me. One of my favorite movies of all time. Even though I admit, unless you're into it, that kind of genre, it's not gonna be for you. But one of my favorite movies is Van Helsing, because it's dumb, stupid fun with big monsters and a unique take on mythical monster lore. And I think that's part of the enjoyability of it for me. And for same reason why I love Destroy Humans, it takes a twist on this type of scientific lore. So I'm always going to be a fan of games that speak to my unique interests on its own.
Well, it's the truth. It's the truth about me too, man. There's games that I like that are like that. Like Psychonauts, I love how it messes with the certain aspects of the brain and how you approach each situation like that too.
Yeah.
That game always stood out to me too. So I could definitely see why you choose things like this, because I feel the same way sometimes. But it's pretty cool.
I feel like Psychonauts is a game that everyone who plays it or everyone who's heard about it loves it. But I don't necessarily hear all that for Destroy All Humans. You know what I mean? I don't know how Destroy All Humans holds up historically. I know the remake has a lot of people excited for it. But I shouldn't even say a lot of people, because there's a lot more fanfare and fervor for games like RE2 and RE3 remake. So I don't know. Man, let's look. So the original scores from back in 2005, Metacritic gave it a 74 and a 76 respectively on the PS2 and the Xbox respectively. EGM gave it a 7 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 7 out of 10. Game Informer gave it an 8 out of 10. Game Revolution gave it a C+. Let's see if they're still in business.
You wouldn't want him to be after that score.
GR is a gaming website created in 1996 based in Berkeley, California. Let's see if that's true. Yep, they're still around. All right. Fucking douchebags. GamePro gave it a 4.5 out of 5. GameSpot, a 7.5 out of 10. GameSpy, 4 out of 5 stars. Game Trailer, 7.8 out of 10. GameZone, 7s. OPM US gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Whores. OXM US gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Detroit Free Press gave it a 4 out of 5. And Maxim gave it an 8 out of 10. So it got above average reviews. I think it's an 80.
It seems kind of like divisive,
8.
though. It's not like it's nothing great. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like people rated it too high, though.
And I without even looking at some of the comments, I can assume it's going to be about the easiness.
Yeah, I think most people would fall under that. Like, yeah, it's charming, it's cool, it's got a lot of good references in here to things we love, but to them, I think difficulty means everything with gameplay. It must seem, I guess.
Lacking of variety, lacking of a genuine stealth mechanic. This is when everyone had a stealth mechanic. Madden had a stealth mechanic at this point. That was the vibe at the time. Got to get them stealth.
Lacking of variety, really? Really?
I mean, man, you can tell.
That one throws me off, man. That's fucked up.
You can tell that they didn't get to play the whole game.
No. The truth is, I didn't even play the whole game. I played the first 2 hours. I did like 5 different fucking things in like an hour and a half. So what the fuck game were they playing?
Who knows? I don't know how they do game reviews back in the day.
Well, apparently they didn't because they sucked. So what was the score again? It was 20. You said 23, right? Or 22?
22 out of 25.
Okay. I got you. I got that.
All right, so let's do our useless news segment, yeah?
Yeah, well, you're gonna probably say that none of them. You didn't want to do any of them. It seemed like.
Yeah, all these suck.
It's slow news with everything happening in the world, man. Sorry.
Slow news day. I gotta kill this segment. Take a shotgun to the head. Throwing in the towel. Now it's time for your useless news with your host, Matthew Hedrick. And on weather, Crypto the Alien. It's gonna be raining humans. I don't know why I'm going Randy Savage on this, but hey, there you go. Gonna drop some elbows on your human asses, you Pharaoh looking motherfuckers. I'm Randy the Alien Savage. I'm gonna break you like a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Now to the desk with Matt Hedrick.
Yeah, well, almost busted out laughing just then. Thank you very much, Chad. My name is Matthew Hedrick, and here is is definitively one of our most useless news segments.
I'm the Tower of Power. I'm too sweet to be sour. I'm the alien of chaos. I'm the man of the hour. Couldn't think of a rhyme. Fuck off.
I don't know. You were doing pretty good for a point, and then like right at the end, you fell apart.
Well, I was trying to think of what rhymed with chaos, and I was like, damn it.
There's only so much, right? Like, you only get to a certain point.
Well, it's not so much like everyone thinks like with chaos or like with words that you have to rhyme. They think about words that end the same, but that's not necessarily the case with rhyming. It's just words that sound the same. So you don't need to worry about like what else ends in eos. No, just gotta think of something. There's a great episode of I shouldn't say great because it was the last season, but there's an episode of How I Met Your Mother in the last season where Marshall's on a bus and he's telling the story of that week's episode in a nursery rhyme. And the guy who created Hamilton, he's on the bus with him. Hamilton is a heavy rapping kind of musical. So obviously the guy who created it can rap, and he does this hugely amazing rap where he raps a lyric to rhyme with Marshall's story because he thinks the word doesn't have a rhymable component, and he goes on for like a good 30 to 40 seconds, but he finally gets to a rhyming component, and it was really impressive. I don't have that talent though, so I can't do that. So we got 3 spec stories. We're gonna roll into one.
Yeah, I technically did too, so that's how I have it in my notes. So
Okay, so let's start with the specs themselves. PS5 reveal specs. We're not gonna read them. I don't give a fuck about specs.
No.
I think people who give a fuck about specs are fucking stupid, fucking moron, douchebag nozzles. If you want to play a game and you need to know if your system can run it, that's fine. But that's a PC problem.
To be fair, I was trying to pick apart like definitive things that meant something like out of this. Like I didn't pull every fact out of here, just a couple of them that stood out. That's all.
Well, here's the only component I care about. What does it look like?
That is fair. Like Xbox just practically blew its wad and threw the picture of it out there. Like, why isn't the PS5 doing that at this point? Is it like really not even ready to show like even a prototype of this thing right now?
Well, we've seen the prototype. It's that awful air vac looking monstrosity.
That thing looked fucking horrible. Like
Yeah.
that better not fucking be it. I've seen
not.
other like so-called concepts that it would be ridiculous looking, and what concept would you really go for? Because Xbox is doing some kind of tower thing. You can't really make it the same, so this thing's going to be bigger. So what the hell would it actually look like? Is just what I'm thinking.
Make it a ball.
That would be interesting. 'Cause I believe there was a commercial back in the day that sold the PS2, and I believe the commercial was like some future thing where they were selling like the PS9 or something, and it was like an actual ball. So like, damn, that kind of brings it all back full circle now when you think about it.
Make it a pyramid. Make it the Sphinx.
Well, you just have like a wider mouth for the disc to go in.
Basically.
That'd be fucked up to see in your entertainment center. Dude, what's that? It's my Sphinx PS5.
It's the Sphinx S5.
The name just rolls right off the tongue, man. Jesus.
So,
I think
do you have any thoughts on any specs that matter?
The only specific one that even stands out to me is, I don't know so much as a spec, but it's the feature everybody was hoping the system would get, and it's the backwards compatibility aspect. Is the only thing I'm really thinking about here, is that supposedly everybody was thinking that PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1 was all going to be compatible on this thing through physical media. And turns out that they're not even getting all the PS4 stuff right now. The games are kind of being tested on a case-by-case basis type deal to kind of optimize performance and things like that. So at this time, I think it's like over 1,000 or something, or 100. You said 100 of the biggest ones are Mark Cerny, the guy who presented it, said 100 of the biggest ones were ready to go. But they're testing all of these, and it's taking time to make them all compatible. So that makes me think that the only one you're going to get is PS4, and I'm fine with that personally. I don't have a big issue with that.
I really don't. I don't know if I am. It sounds like they're going to be using the same type of laser setup from the PS4 to the PS5, but there's going to be a loss in translation of sorts, which could cause some games not to be backwards compatible. I don't know how I feel about this overall. I've been very lukewarm, and let me be clear. I got a PS1 before I got a 64. I got a PS2, and I just straight up ignored the Xbox. From then on, I've been a PlayStation guy. And not because of some blind loyalty, but because they keep presenting things that appeal to me. I've told you before, for a long time now, that I'm very much looking at getting a Switch because it appeals to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about this specific game system. You know, there's things about this that I am not over the moon about, and I don't know if I'm going to be opting to buy another PlayStation console.
Yeah, because they're trying a lot of different things with this system too. Like they're getting rid of like a hard drive component to it and going with something like a solid state drive. I'm not even familiar with what this really is. Supposedly this is supposed to make everything run and load faster, but I think it trades off in terms of like storage space or something like that. And I keep seeing this idea of like expandable memories and things like that, and I'm like, you guys are just going to try to just pawn and sell more shit to expand the memory of the system. Good fucking god.
Well,
The system itself is going to fucking cost $600 already. So we need like $100 memory fucking cards with this thing too.
well, I think that's also part of the issue. I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen the system itself, because they're still trying to find things to cut corners on and to reduce cost on. The problem that I have with both this and the new Xbox console is the idea that they're going to be doing a lot more cloud memory. I don't like that. I don't like putting files out there for people to go out and kind of shift through, and especially with PlayStation, they Sony has had a awful track record when it comes to being hacked.
Like, oh yeah, god yeah, PSN of 2000, was it 2011, right? That was the big one.
And 2007, I think. I know I've twice
Damn,
been
man.
told by PlayStation that I needed to change my email and logins because I've been hacked. Once happened on the PS3, once happened on the PS4. Or maybe it was both on the PS3, I can't remember. But the general idea that I have in my mind about what I want, what I don't want to have to deal with cloud storage. I don't want to have to deal with, only being able to play my stuff with an internet connection. I don't want to have this multiplayer bullshit. I don't want a lot of what they're offering nowadays in terms of gameplay experiences, like Modern Warfare. It's still a good franchise. If that's the shit that appeals to you, great. But I don't want to play with a bunch of, noobs and knobs and twerps and twats.
I like all the T's in there.
Thank you. I was looking for alliteration. So you know how you used to do the porn count?
Yes, I do.
So I'm watching Comet because I'm in my room, so I don't have cable. And I don't know what's on. I saw Sean Astin, and I'm like, all right, Rudy's cool. Well, I just saw a commercial for Phone Sexy. And if I remember correctly, Phone Sexy
that's been a while.
Right? I remember the Phone Sexy commercials had the most haggard-ass looking chicks ever, right?
Right.
Or at least one of the two commercials had the most haggard ass. Well, this one, they finally put some money
Worse,
in.
huh?
No, they put some money into production value.
Oh, the other way. Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, what's up?
Apparently they were successful being sexy.
First 5 minutes is free. Thank you very much. I only need 3.
The first 5 minutes is free. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh
my God. So most guys will use that probably when you make it to like 2.
Right. So I'm showing some strength and experience on this one. So, but as far as the PlayStation 5 goes, there's a lot about it that makes me worried. Lack of details at this point, lack of, we're granted we're still 9 months out, or maybe not even 9 months, but it feels like they're still trying to figure this thing out. I think isn't both the Xbox and PlayStation launching on the same days or same weeks or something like that?
There's no definitive thing right now. Everything is basically saying holiday. There was a reveal at one point, like they're saying like Thanksgiving, but I'm thinking that might be right around where it's coming, in like late November.
It's the fourth quarter of the year, so anytime after I think September. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm watching this play out, and I'm feeling like there's a lot of people still trying to figure out what the PS5 is going to be, while Xbox kind of just said, fuck the Xbox One, let's start worrying about whatever the second one's going to be called. The Xbox, or whatever the fuck they called it. Because it's just called the Xbox, right?
History worst name of consoles ever.
Oh,
They
yeah,
are the
it's the
worst.
It's the worst. We're going to call this one the long box.
You might as well. The Series X. What the fuck?
I thought the Series X was something completely different.
No, this is their newest. The Xbox's newest one is called the Series X. That's what they're calling it.
The Series X?
Yeah.
Well, so wait, what was it? No, because it was Xbox One Series X.
No, this new one is just literally, this new console is just going to be called Xbox Series X.
So even though they have an Xbox One Series X, which is its name, correct?
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong about that?
I think you're thinking of the highest performing one right now,
Yes.
which is the Xbox One X.
Okay, it's the Xbox One X. This one's the Xbox Series X. Yeah, no, it's the long box.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Like, why can't it, like, see, Nintendo named their shit because of, like, concepts of their systems,
yes.
right? Or at least to a degree.
No, not to a degree.
PlayStation,
flat out.
Right. Nintendo said, "This is our concepts. This is why we're naming it this." PlayStation said, "Fuck it, we're gonna simplify it with numbers." Xbox said, "We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just gonna throw a bunch of random shit into a hat, pull it out, and see what we think sticks."
Dreamcast's like, we're gonna have a second one. It's coming.
Dude, I am fighting so hard. Please give me a Dreamcast 2. Please, please.
Call it the Dreamcast.
Such a fucking underrated system. It's fantastic.
Call it the Sega Dreamcast 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's how you.
There's gonna be a Dreamcast controller getting made too, like modernizing it a little bit. Like, I'm so ready for that. Oh man, good stuff. But yeah, the Xbox, terrible naming, terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah, they're the only thing I'll ever give them an advantage of is, at least in this case, is the backwards compatibility, because at least at this time support all of their games, whether you like them or not. At least they're doing that, so you can play through the library. The other feature I thought was cool about their upcoming system too is that it's going to have this feature where you can switch between games without having to go back to the dashboard. It's a simple. That's not a complicated thing, but I think it's nice if you're kind of done playing a game for a little bit and you just want to switch to something else. I think it's cool. They're having an expandable memory thing too, but my biggest issue with both of them is it's going to come down to price, because I'm going to tell you right now, if this thing says $600 for each one of these things at launch, there's no way I would recommend these types of things. Granted, I get it. They're taking it at a loss. That's for sure. No question. But you're asking the average person to pay over half of the price of at least what I pay of a mortgage payment every month to buy a system? No, that's not happening. Sorry.
All right.
Like, the Switch is in a nice little pocket, and that's where I like it.
So it's not Sean Astin. It's some fat dude who looks like him. The movie's called Dolls. That's what I'm watching on Comment right now. It's some horror flick. Set in 1492 Spain, apparently. That can't be right. I'm seeing too much technology. Oh, that's The Dolls. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Come on, Google. Here we go. Just Dolls. Creepy little fucking movie poster, but that's about it. Ian Patrick Williams, Carolyn Purdy Gordon, Carrie Lorraine, Guy Rolfe, Hillary Mason, Bunty Bailey, Casey Stewart, and Stephen Lee. Stephen Lee is the guy who I thought was Rudy for a second. Sean Astin.
Okay.
So let's move on to GameStop. GameStop is
fucking sleazebag, right?
GameStop is Inside Gaming's favorite target during this Quentin Quarantino.
Oh man, what a way to do it! I love that. That's awesome.
Quentin Quarantino and his new hit movie, Reservoir Dust Bunnies. Or don't
Oh
forget his
man.
iconic classic starring John Travolta, Pulp Orange Juice. It's all we had left. it's
You had to
it's
really concentrate on that one, didn't you?
shut up. It's Pulp Orange Juice colon. It's all we had left. Let's see what else we had. We had trying to think of bad Quentin Tarantino movies, which is all of them in my opinion. There was
Oh man. Oh wow.
yeah, there was Virus Proof.
Oh man. Come
Thank
on.
you. Thank you. There's Planet Terror. That one doesn't need to be renamed.
Nope. Accurate.
All right, we're doing this. Hang on. Tarantino films. We're gonna rename all of them.
With apocalypse related names. Oh, what a life we live.
Okay, we have. We're just gonna do the ones that he wrote. We have. We have True Quarantine, based off of True Romance. We have Natural Born. Wait, shit! What the fuck is that term? We have Natural Born Social Distancers. We have Quarantine from Dusk Till Dawn, and 14 Days Later.
Oh my god.
We have Jackie Brown has been tested positive for corona.
Oh Lord have mercy. Oh wow.
We have coronavirus. No, hang on. I can do this one. Kill Corona Volumes 1 and 2. We have. Hang on, I can do this one. Hang on. We have Inglorious Isolation. We have.
Oh man.
Hang on, I gotta figure out one for this one. I can do this. We have Django hospitalized. He's got the fluid. We have the Positive 8. And Once Upon a Time in Self-Isolation.
Oh man. Somebody turn these into parodies, please.
If I had
Oh god.
if one of my filmmaking friends was in town,
Uh-huh.
would definitely be doing all of them. At least trailers for all of them.
Take a picture of the cover of what was the Kill Bill one you said?
Kill Corona.
Kill like virus or something?
Kill
Kill
Corona.
Corona, okay.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Instead of Uma Thurman on there with the sword, it would just be like a doctor with a syringe.
No, it would be a porn star dressed as a slutty doctor with a mask on. Well, and she's doing the glove waggle with her hand, like getting her fingers into the glove.
Oh man.
That's how it's done. So as we talk about GameStop, let's just remember one thing. I didn't pick
They're
these
horrible.
stories, and I shouldn't be blamed for repeating the same nonsense that y'all have been reading and watching about for the last 7 days. As Gene Snitsky once infamously said, "It's not my fault."
Yeah, it's my fault apparently.
Yes, it is. So,
Well, they're just being sleazy. That's the best way I can put this, honestly.
well, they're not the only ones. Hobby Lobby's still open.
Mm.
And at least with GameStop, you know that this is being done out of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
Hobby Lobby, their owners are $6 billion Christian fundamentalists. And they've told their stores to stay open because the CEO's wife prayed for answers on if they should close or not.
Close the fucking store. Close
At least
it.
GameStop is being pretty upfront with their sleaze. They're basically
Mhm.
saying, bitches, we about to be broke. We needs the money.
Yeah, by claiming they're essential. No, not really. You're not. Sorry. I like playing games as much as the next guy, but I'd rather be alive and play them than just be spreading a virus right now just so I can get my game.
They're essential-ish.
Yeah, to the downfall of like game sales, pretty much.
No, I think GameStop is needed. I do. I think they need to change. Don't get me wrong. I don't like their practices, and I don't really support the idea of keeping them open. But as far as what else are people going to do besides play games?
The only other things you can really do are watch movies too. That's about it.
I don't see Blockbuster staying open, although I wish. Although Blockbuster,
Is it?
let's be honest here, folks. Blockbuster being open or like having big time rental shops still being a thing would be the downfall of humanity right now. All those DVDs trading hands in a day.
Which honestly
bad.
surprises me as to why Family Video isn't closed. That surprises me. Because they're the last rental chain out there, and I would have felt like the moment this happened, they would have just stopped.
Well,
You know?
you got to remember they don't have nearly the same volume as Blockbuster.
That's
So
fair.
them being because like in our area, there's like what one in the span of 2 counties.
Yeah.
You know, there's one in what Brunswick.
Yeah, there's one in Brunswick. I can't remember where the other one is right now, but yeah, they're pretty far apart from each other. It's a good like at least half hour away from where I'm at least. So
And
yeah, I can
Brunswick's
see
in
why.
a completely different county.
That's Medina.
That's right. It is Medina County.
hmm
It's not even the fucking name of the city. What? There's only like 2 cities in Medina County: Medina and Brunswick.
Gotta love it, right?
As far as state schools go, there's only 1 high school per city that I'm aware of. There's Brunswick High and Medina High. And I know that may sound like some of y'all may be like, well, yeah, that's just how it is. Dude, in Parma and Parma Heights, we have 3 high schools.
I was gonna say Normandy Valley Forge and Parma, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You used to have 2 in Middleburg and I forget the other name of the Middleburg and Berea.
You're thinking Mid Park and Berea, yeah.
Wasn't Mid Park Middleburg's high school?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that's
was
what I'm
just-
saying.
Yeah, the official
Between
name, yeah.
Mid Park and Berea, there was 2 high schools, but now there's only 1. It's Berea Middleburg or Mid Park Berea or whatever it's called. They're now the Titans. Because it used to be Berea was the Braves and Mid Park was what, the Comets? Meteors. The Mid Park Meteors.
Yeah.
Dear God, what a terrible fucking school name. Where are the Meteors?
Sorry.
Brr. I like the Titans. That's a dope name.
That is pretty cool.
Not as dope as the Invaders, though. We were named after World War II soldiers and heroes, so fuck off. We rule.
Yeah, that name's clever. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's fucking baller, man. Tell you what. We got the best logo, the best color scheme. We're just the best, man. So, as far as GameStop goes, I have nothing new to say. I understand why they're doing it. They're in a desperate time, and this is an opportunity for them to make a lot of money. But it's also skeezy that they're putting their employees at risk. But on the flip side, there's a lot of people who would switch with them in this moment right now because they're laid off or not able to work and they want to. So on the flip side, you know, there's always going to be another kind of argument to be had for this. You know, a lot of people want to be working but can't. So my biggest gripe with GameStop being open is that they're not providing at least gloves for their employees.
Oh, you have to in this
Yeah.
case. You absolutely have to.
That's the one thing that I would say would be my caveat. Like if I was GameStop and I knew I needed to be open because of financial reasons, but I couldn't afford gloves, I would say, we got to bite the bullet for 2 or 3 weeks and close up shop. We just have to. But if I could provide gloves, then absolutely I would. As far as cleaning supplies, no one can get them. So
No, you're gonna have to make do, man.
I'm glad to know that people are cracking down on people who hoard and sell off shit for
Oh yeah.
profits. Real happy about that.
Oh yeah, I was seeing Costco saying like there was a picture online or something saying they're not accepting returns on any of the items people are hoarding right now, and Amazon will not let you sell any of this stuff at any hand sanitizer, toilet paper, anything for any price. They're banning the whole thing.
Yeah, not even at cost. They've banned it all. So I'm happy about that.
So you will see a turnaround at some point with that
Yes.
eventually, because it's just gonna have to be. But as far as GameStop, the thing is, when I gave you this story, an update came like right under the wire that they are cutting off the customers coming in the store now. Like it was literally just updated today. They're closing down to walk-ins tomorrow, and they're gonna do everything online and get it shipped to you, I think. And the weirdest one was that they're gonna have this weird thing where you can order it on your phone, and it's gonna be like a curbside service where they come and give you your game, which is weird.
That's actually brilliant. That's a Reggie
You think
Fils-Aimé.
so?
Yo, yeah, that's a Reggie Fils-Aimé right there. Because if you can provide the laziest of the lazies the opportunity to get your games delivered same day without
Mhm.
having to go through bullshit Amazon, because that's a fucking monopoly and fuck monopolies and fuck Amazon, that's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. 100% on
Do
board
you
with
think
that.
that's the smartest move they pulled, right?
Yes, that is a genuinely smart move. Someone's sitting there going, well, let's stay open, but let's control the flow ourselves and have shit delivered. That's brilliant. Because now you can turn the
That's
stores into a
smart,
two.
man.
It is. That's one of the reasons why pizza places will never go out of business, because I'm not gonna fucking wait 35 goddamn minutes for goddamn Amazon Pizza to get to my house drone flighted. I can just
Hmm.
walk 2 seconds around the corner and get a Pizza Hut pizza. It's right there. I myself will
Hmm.
keep them in business. So I think this is a brilliant idea, and they say difficult situations breed ingenuity. To use a real world comparison, the WWE, when they were at the top of their game, when they were actually producing content people enjoyed, the reason was that they had stark competition, and it forced
Hmm.
them to up their game and to, find a new challenge, and they had to be more creative and be more daring than their rivals.
Right.
When you're put into a strenuous situation, you either crack under pressure or you fortify. This might be GameStop's siren song to success with this game side delivery shit. That's brilliant.
That's fucking smart. And the only thing I'm thinking about right now is that a lot of people go to those stores, and it's just the nature of the beast, because GameStop lets you pre-order everything and put certain money down in certain increments. The thing I'm thinking of now is with big releases coming up, especially they're canceling right before the hit of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking of is, how are they gonna assess the pre-order situation with people who've already bought those games? Are they just gonna just ship them out, just mail them to you? Or are they gonna like you can still like go to the curbside, pay for the rest of it, pick it up? I'm just wondering how that's gonna play out.
I would imagine if you pre-ordered it, they will let you pay for it online somehow. It's really not
Hmm.
hard to get that kind of system figured out. Like once you already have something like that in place. I think the thing that really aggravates me, and I just saw this, this angers me. The letter allegedly goes on to say that should the police attempt to enforce a closure of a GameStop store, the managers are approved to provide a document which encourages them to call GameStop corporate headquarters. Now, are they saying that the police are encouraged to call GameStop headquarters, or are they encouraging managers to call?
The way I would see that, at least the way I'm interpreting it, is police. That's the way I would see it, maybe, because they're trying to get the clarification. But I wouldn't want to put that burden on the employees, man. That's fucked up.
I would need to read that because they don't have the statement linked anywhere.
Hmm.
Kotaku apparently has it. Let's see if we can find the exact quote.
I'm with you though, man. That's it. What they just pulled here is a genius move for crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's going to make them so much money in this time. And I know we got more pressing issues here, but
Okay,
you
here's the
can't
quote.
knock a good idea for being a good idea.
We have received reports of local authorities visiting stores in an attempt to enforce closures despite our classification. Store managers are approved to provide the document linked below to a law enforcement officer as needed.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're telling employees to hand them the fucking paper. I say no. If I'm a GameStop manager and I see the police rolling, I'm done. Because all I'm gonna say is, well,
Yeah,
they
whatever
threatened
you
to
want.
arrest me.
I would just tell them whatever you want, man. You know,
Well,
I am complying. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go against you.
if you're GameStop, you can't afford any bad publicity. And what I would tell whoever I call, listen, if I don't close, they're gonna arrest me. That's bad publicity, bitch. So we're gonna close and fuck you. Although I probably wouldn't say fuck.
I think that's what happened too. Is that they were getting this initial story got so much backlash. I think at one point there was reports. It wasn't confirmed that employees themselves were just walking out of the store and just closing it themselves, saying, "You can fire me if you want, but I'm not going to come back in the store. I'm not going to risk my health and safety of people just so you want to make a profit too."
Well, I haven't seen any of that, but if it's happening, good for them because they're taking a risk. But also, I can't confirm that's happening. So, And now finally, Matt's favorite story. Every time there's one, Epic Games is again in our conversational wheelhouse because Matt loves him some Epic Games. But it also involves
I think it's
Gabe
because
Newell
it's
of Valve. Yeah, you need to learn to let me finish. Valve CEO Gabe Newell says competition is awesome for everybody. Hail Hydra.
Oh God.
I definitively despise all major corporations. Valve, Amazon, Lego. Not really Lego. I love you, Lego. You can take
Lego,
over the
really?
world. Lego can take over the world. You're cool. It's that scene from Waiting, but only instead of like the crew, it's like Amazon and Netflix and YouTube, and then like you got Lego in the corner, and you're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Turn to Lego. You're cool.
I think you're thinking of Half Baked.
Whatever. And then there's also that part of Waiting where he goes, and you're the worst. That's me pointing at fucking Viacom and CBS. And you're the fucking worst. Me? What the fuck did I do? Star Trek's like sitting behind it, looking up behind its back. You know what you did.
Quite possibly my favorite moment of that movie too. That big blowout. That was great.
Monty. I just love that fucking Ryan. What's his name? Ryan. Not Gosling.
Reynolds.
Thank you. Ryan Reynolds is his name in that. What wasn't it? Monty. No, Monty was the kid.
I think it was. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I need to look this up. Hang on. Remember when movies used to be like Waiting? And not just, hey, which new media are we remaking into a film? Or which film are we remaking into another film? All right, so Ryan Reynolds...
No, basically a movie that just basically said, fuck it.
Basically. Ryan Reynolds was Monty Cook. Ironic. Just along was Dean Saunders. Anna Faris was Serena Vowles. David Koechner as Daniel Christopher Pratt. I believe that was the kid, right? No, that's the manager. Luis Guzman was Radamus Lopez. Chai McBride was Bishop Coleman. That's really his name? Kenneth McBride. That's why I didn't recognize him. Then we had John Francis Daly as Mitch Ham. He wrote Spider-Man, I think. He started in Freaks and Geeks. What did he write, though? He wrote something. He's a screenwriter for Horrible Bosses, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, Horrible Bosses 2, National Lampoon's Vacation Films, Vacation 2015, Spider-Man Homecoming, and he co-created Game Night. We also had Caitlin Doubleday as Amy Presley. We had Robert Patrick Benedict as Calvin Costanza. He's God on Supernatural. We had Alana Ubach as Naomi. I don't know who the fuck that is. I'm going to Google her because I think I have an idea. Nope. Oh, this is the gross older chick.
Oh God, yeah.
We had.
What do you think of this?
We had Vanessa Lenges as Natasha Willett. She was the sexy 17-year-old hostess that Ryan Reynolds wanted to fuck all movie. When he turned 18? In 2 weeks. I can wait. You had Max Cash as T-Dog, and Andy Milonakis as Nick. Dane Cook as Floyd Biggs. Jordan Ladd as Danielle. We had Emmanuel Shariki as Tyler the bartender. I love her. She's gorgeous. We had Wendy Malick as Monty's mom. And then we had Skylar Stone as cook number 1. Skylar Stone is on the greatest Comedy Central show of all time. Can you name it?
The Con?
Yes! Well, it's just called Con, but yes. I didn't think you were going to get that.
No, I remember it. It was like in the mid 2000s, right? Or something.
Yeah, 2005 actually.
Okay.
And he taught people how to scam the system. I don't know how legit that show was, but I believed it. I mean, I was 18 at the time.
You at least had fun with it, right?
Right? Was a television series on Comedy Central which con artist Skylar Stone revealed the secrets of his profession by performing confidence tricks, scams, and hoaxes of various degrees of complexities on camera. These could range from simply claiming that an order of food was botched to claiming to be a certain profession which required training received through cons. In one episode, Stone showed how he received a free soft drink at a fast food restaurant by retaining paper cups from various fast food restaurants and then refilling them at soda fountains. Most of his cons revolved around him claiming that he is filming a television show or a movie of some sort and that the product or service he wished to acquire would be advertised in the film or show. The products did wind up being getting free advertisement, but on con, not where they were told. So it looks like this was legit.
Huh.
That's
cool.
I bet you it was closed because of it was shut down because of potential lawsuits.
Oh my God, that thing would have been just brimming from the top with lawsuits, dude.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great whatsoever. So I'm looking at Emmanuel Shriqui. Emmanuel Shriqui's Wikipedia selection. She's been in some doozies of films. She was in Super Troopers too. I've yet to see that. She was also in the one I remember her the most is Snow Day.
Never seen that.
It is a movie about a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. I'm sorry, that song stuck in my head. It's a movie about a bunch of siblings, a brother and sister, who wake up one day to find that their father, Chevy Chase, who's a weathercaster, had predicted a snowstorm, and now the entire city is closed down due to massive amounts of snow. The brother is in love with this girl played by Emmanuel Shrieky. She's like this darling, beautiful, olive-skinned goddess with like raven-esque hair, and she's just all kinds of gorgeous. And his best friend is played by Schuler Fisk, who was the girlfriend. Did you ever see Orange County? With
I
Jack
have seen
Black?
Orange County, yes.
She was the girlfriend of Hanks, Colin Hanks' character. She played Lane on this, and she was the best friend of the main character. And throughout the entire movie, the main character is trying to get Emmanuel Shrieky to notice him during the snow day, and he eventually ends up, because it's obviously it's 2000s. It's literally straight up out of 2000. He literally realized that the redheaded ginger chick was the girl for him all along.
Aww.
Right? It's adorably tongue in cheek, and you'll see all these movies or all these types of movies now on like Hallmark Channel and shit. But at the time, these stories were not as prevalent. So yay. It also features Gene Smart, Chris Elliott, Iggy Pop, Pam Grier, John Schneider, Josh Peck. So there's a pretty deep who's who on this.
It's an interesting cast for sure.
Oh, yeah. Especially Iggy Pop, who is not known for being a family-friendly artist. Chris Elliott's on there, too. And you may not recognize the name, but Chris Elliott was... He's just basically always the weird, creepy guy in every show or movie. You've seen How I Met Your Mother, right?
Yeah.
He was Lily's dad. So
I think the first time I ever saw him he was in Groundhog Day, right? If I remember right.
Chris Elliott?
Yeah. Or am I wrong on that one?
Yeah, I don't know. I never actually seen all of Groundhog's Day.
Okay. I know he's in There's Something About Mary. I know that one for sure.
Get a Life. Let me see. Filmography. Liana Grenmold. My Man Adam. Manhunter. The Abyss. I do not see Groundhog. Oh, no. Oh, I'm thinking of... Caddyshack. No. Okay. I've seen Groundhog's Day. And yes, he's in Groundhog's Day. It's actually Groundhog Day. I love that fucking movie.
Oh, that's a great one. That's one of Bill Murray's best, man.
My favorite is when they're driving off the fucking cliff and the gopher and Bill Murray scream. I don't know why, man, but I'm all about animatronic puppets screaming. Like, that shit cracks me up all the time.
I just liked it in general when, like, he started to just fuck with things because he knew nothing was going to change.
Yep.
So you just kept provoking shit to see what would happen. I love that. That was fucking awesome.
It took a real twisted fucking turn, though, when at one point he tried to save the old homeless guy who keeps dying. Oh, my God. Like, they just kept running that scene back. Oh. Not cool.
Man. That one hits you, man.
It does. It really does. The girl who was in Snow Day, the little sister, is Xena Gray. I haven't seen her since that movie. Apparently, she's still acting. It looks like she went sporadic for a little while. But she's been picking it back up recently. In the last 5 years, she's been in a number of things. She's gorgeous. Like, goddamn, she's 31.
Wow.
Oh, God, she's gorgeous, man. She's got this great red hair. I'm a fan. Blue eyes. I'm a fan.
Someone's falling in love.
Dude, I fall in love with a new chick every day.
Too bad the feeling's not mutual, right?
Right. That's the worst.
And the fact that you're talking about this so much just tells you how irrelevant my story was.
I don't even know what story you were fucking telling.
It was the Epic Games thing, but you already pretty much made the point. It's great for everyone. Hail Hydra. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, it is. Like, what else do you want me to say? Like, this is the shit we've been saying for fucking a year now. It's good to have competition.
I'm just happy it came from the horse's mouth finally, you know?
Right?
That's all.
Well, it's not going to change anything, though. People are still going to be asshats.
No. Oh, no. They're going to be complete fucking dicks. Like, I think there was a feature that came out on Epic Games Store recently. Everybody was mocking it. It's like, they have wish lists now. Oh, my God, they have wish lists. No shit. Oh, man, they're partially on their way as being as good as, as a Steam. I'm like, give me a fucking break. Guys are reaching at this point, man.
So I just realized, and I don't know why I felt the need to click on her Rotten Tomatoes link, because apparently now they grade out actors in movies, like what you can see in their highest and lowest rated films. Her highest rated film is In Good Company, which was a Topher Grace flick, apparently.
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
I haven't. And then her worst flick is actually one of my favorite bad movies of all time, Summer Catch. And I just remembered she's in that. Have you ever seen it?
No, what is that movie?
Oh, God, it's the worst. But it's so good. But it's so bad. It's a Scooby-Doo, I think, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard. They're
Oh
playing
no.
in a professional or a semi-pro baseball team in like Chattanooga, Massachusetts, or something like that.
Mm.
Because of the basic gist of how the league works, the townsfolk host the players in their homes. So like Matthew Lillard ends up like having sex with his town mom, if you will, and Freddie Prinze Jr. is a hometown kid. So his dad lives in this town, so he just goes and stays with him for the season. And his dad's a lawnmower company owner, so he does like all the rich people's lawns because like they're right next to like all the expensive homes. And Jessica Biel is the daughter of one of the more rich, more powerful people in the town. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is just a pitcher who can't seem to make it in the bigs. And, you know, who is he? And he's not good enough for her. And back and forth and back and forth. But Jessica Biel had a little sister who's in love with baseball. And she's trying to come up with a mascot for the local minor league team that the city hosts. And, like, throughout the film, she's just in all these dumb, stupid fucking costumes. Like, she's like a fisherman kind of like with the yellow slack and the hat. She's a fish, I think, at one point. I think at one point she's like a bear. Like, she can't get it right. It's adorable and hilarious. But I completely forgot she was in that movie. Summer Catch is one of the most awful but awesome sports movies I've ever seen. And I will fight to my dying breath about that movie being a low-key classic. Not because it's good, but because it's not. And it has so much goddamn charm in its acting, especially Matthew Lillard. I'll watch anything with Matthew Lillard.
So would you say it's like a big guilty pleasure thing then?
Oh God, yeah. God, yes. I'm trying to think of another baseball movie. I know who starred it. I just gotta look up the name of it. There was a baseball movie that came out a few years later called Fever Pitch with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon. If this gets better Rotten Tomato scores than Summer Catch, I'm gonna fucking freak.
Because I know you fucking hate Jimmy Fallon. Dude.
Oh my God, he's the worst. It's made worse that it's a goddamn movie about the Boston Red Sox. I'm even more pissed about it. Ah, fuck this world. Fever Pitch, 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 60% on the audience score. Well, the audience score for Summer Catch is only a 41. Y'all have no taste in fucking baseball movies. You cunts.
Why did he have to get paired up with Drew Barrymore? Drew Barrymore is awesome.
She is. I think she's a better director than she is an actor. I really liked
Well, Santa Clarita Diet was awesome.
Oh my God, she was great in that.
Fantastic, man.
What a wonderful
Aces.
fucking...
Oh.
Just a wonderful fucking series.
Please bring some of it back, please.
That's the shit that I really enjoy. Like that type of nonsense out there humor. I mean, that's why it didn't get renewed. Like there wasn't enough people watching it.
Because it was only fulfilling to a certain crowd, and that's
Right.
why. So
I will say this. I'm fine when Netflix cancels a show because when they cancel it, they're basically saying not enough people are watching it. And they would know. They have automatic metrics that would tell you that. At least I hope they do. So, for it's a sad thing, but, So, you want to watch Summer Catch for next week? It's a game movie.
Okay, it's a gaming show, but...
I mean, think about it. We have video baseball games. We could just say Summer Catch is based on MLB The Show. Or what was it? MVP? Was that EA Sports baseball game? ESPN MVP?
I think it was MVP baseball. Yeah, you're right.
Well, let's just say Summer Catch is a live action. Summer Catch is a live action iteration of ESPN's MVP baseball or EA Sports' MVP baseball.
Oh my God. He's just reaching at this point, man. Christ.
I'm reaching for a lot of shit nowadays. I think I'm watching this one way or another tonight.
Hey, man, guilty pleasures, man. I watch them all the time. I watch movies that people hate.
What's that TV show from the 90s where it was kind of like Married with Children, but instead of the dad being like a shoe salesman, he went down in the basement and hung out with Bobcat Goldthwait as a trash talking
rabbit.
Dude.
I love that show.
right?
Unhappily Ever After.
Yes. The
I
star
love
of
that
the
show.
star of that, Fred Ward, is in Summer Catch.
Oh man. Oh man.
Apparently, Fred
That
Ward
you
was
want to talk about a
alive.
guilty pleasure show that I used to watch? That was one of them.
I don't know if you can call Unhappily After a guilty pleasure show because it was, to my knowledge, a well received show.
Was it? Oh yeah. Well, it had at least 4 years, I think, right?
I
Yeah,
think so.
about 4 years. So maybe yeah, maybe you couldn't call it that, but maybe underrated, maybe because it
I would
wasn't
say
like the most
underrated.
popular.
I would say that. Wasn't it on WB?
Yes, I think was it the dude from I think the dude from Entourage, Kevin was his name, Kevin Connolly or something,
Yeah, he
was
was the
one of the leads in
son.
that show
Yeah,
too.
he was the son.
Okay,
I may
but
have
no one
been
cares about that.
wrong.
Everyone looked at Nikki Cox the whole time. So
I may have been wrong who the star of the show was. I thought it was Fred Ward. It was not Fred Ward. It was Jeff Pearson.
that's right.
I always think it's Fred Ward. Like every time I think about this show, I think it's Fred Ward. So apparently, Jack Malloy is listed as a alcoholic, schizophrenic, cynical, depressed man who hates his unhappy marriage and wholly unsatisfied used car salesman job. Family gives him little respect, thinking him insane or senile. He converses with a stuffed bunny, Mr. Floppy, that only he can hear. His daughter Tiffany is the only hope in an otherwise depressing life, though he is unaware of how Tiffany often uses him to her own advantage. He and his wife tend to bicker over trivial things, and she seems to dominate him. He doesn't really care about his family, as they are the cause for most of his woes. He is the family income source, paying for food, expensive allowances, and gifts for Tiffany. In season 1, Jack and Jenny separated, but Jack moved back home, and they both still hate each other. Jack and Jenny officially divorced in season 5. He is similar to Married with Children's Al Bundy. Stephanie Hodge was the wife. Kevin Connolly was the son. Nikki Cox was the daughter. Whatever happened to Nikki Cox? Oh,
She didn't.
apparently,
Okay, what did happen?
The middle child, or the second oldest from Malcolm in the Middle, Justin Burfield, was on this show as well as the
That's right.
forgotten child, the
That's
youngest
right.
and arguably the most normal member of the family.
I think I definitely liked the father character in this show a lot better. Like I didn't mind Al Bundy and Married with Children, but I liked how direct this character was in this show. Like when I think I remember the time where somebody was downstairs, like supposedly sleeping with Tiffany, and the first thing he went and did is just grab a shotgun.
I think the thing that, I mean, and this should kind of boil it down to who I am. The reason I like this show is because I had a fucking talking puppet. I mean, that's what it boils down to, man. I have no memories.
You got your interest, man.
I have no memories of the show outside of the goddamn basement with the talking bunny. And most of the time, it's just the bunny being a pain in the ass. And this Bobcat Goldthwait voice.
Yeah, perfect fit for that character too, man. He nailed it.
It really is. So,
man.
It looks like Nikki Cox might be retired. She was married to Jay Moore.
Yeah, for a number of years, but I haven't heard anything of her since like maybe late 2000s. I know she was like on, what was it, show Las Vegas or something like that, right?
Wait, with the show that had like that brief one episode cameo with Hugh Jackman?
I don't know if it was called Las Vegas or Vegas, but I know it was one of those two. I know it had like a 5-season run or something.
Yeah, Las Vegas had 5 seasons. I might be thinking of Vegas then.
Okay.
Because it was like a fucking musical and it had like Hugh Jackman in it. It was the craziest. That shit was on fucking acid. The last thing she was in was A Christmas Wedding Tale in 2011.
Oh yeah, she's done. At least seemed like she's retired.
More or less. Let's see. Vegas show. Oh, nope. I don't want Las Vegas. Hugh Jackman TV show. I guess let's just look up his IMDb. Oh, it's called Viva. That's what it's called. Viva. Viva Laughlin. I don't know if it was a musical or if it was just the episode. Nope. Viva Laughlin is an American musical dramedy television series adapted by Bob Lowry and Pete Bauer from the popular British television series Blackpool.
Hmm.
Fucking, it lasted for like one season, I think, and Hugh Jackman did a cameo where he sang "Sympathy for the Devil."
Okay.
Just the shit we learn on this show, man. I tell you what.
Hey, information is a beautiful thing.
It didn't even. It aired 2 episodes with 5 unaired.
Oh yeah, that's a success right there.
CBS canceled Viva Laughlin on October 22nd, 2007 after airing 2 episodes with 9 networks in Jackman's home country of Australia, following suit the next day by canceling the show, airing only after 1 episode. Both CBS and 9, which is an Australian TV channel for those of you who can't keep up, filled the show's time slot with repeats episodes of CSI and an Amazing Race. Then taking Viva Laughlin's place on CBS on November 4th. There's still no plans to air the remaining episodes. Really? 13 years later, there's still no plans? I'm shook.
How dare you?
How dare you get my hopes up? I'm sorry. Hugh Jackman was listed as one of the main actors in this. Huh. Well, what do you know?
What a startling discovery.
What do you know? So, did you watch anything on the YouTube lately that got you percolated?
The only thing that really stuck out this week, especially like gaming wise, it was like, again, it was a slow week for videos gaming wise for me. The only one that stuck out completely was Stop Skeletons from Fighting, his Half-Life port video. I did like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the video, like when he kept showing how many different times loading screens would occur on the Dreamcast port. That was pretty funny. I love the fact that the strategy guide was actually still released, even though the game wasn't. I found that to be interesting. That the definitive version is actually on the PS2, believe it or not. But yeah, he always makes those videos he always makes those videos super entertaining, and this was just another case of, yeah, definitively, without question, that there was a weird history with these ports for sure. And I've never personally gotten into the Half-Life series. I mean, I've always been interested to try it, but I would love for there to be like somebody would revive that game and like maybe fine tune it and re-release it for Dreamcast or something. 'Cause I have a Dreamcast. I would love to see how that would run, you know?
I don't remember which. So I think it was PS2, but I rented the Orange Box. Remember that game?
Yeah, that had Half-Life 2, both episodes. It had Portal, I think, and Team Fortress.
Maybe I don't remember. I don't know which game I selected. I think it was Half-Life 1. And I played it for all of 90 seconds.
And you were out of it after that, huh?
No, it was broken. I took an elevator down to this walkway. I walked all the way to this door, and I couldn't open the door. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Oh, like you were just barely starting and like you couldn't even load the first area? That
Nope.
sucks.
Now, I don't know if I did something wrong. There was no instruction booklet. There was, this was at a time when the internet wasn't as widely divulged with information, or at least that I was aware of. People don't really remember that 2005 was not a very heavy internet era. In fact, I would argue that 2005 and 2006 is the perfect balance between internet consumption and physical media.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That was still in an early age of like knowing what to do in a game, because walkthrough videos were not a thing at that time. The biggest prevalent thing I can think of at that point was
GameFAQs.
having to go on GameFAQs. Yeah, having to go on there and look up some shit. Yeah, and that shit. One, it was hard to read anything anybody would put on that thing because of the way the text would come up for the strategy guides, and two, it's just fucking time consuming to sift through all that shit.
Fuck GameFAQs. But also, thank you. You served a valuable service. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Stop Skeletons had a great episode this week with all the Half-Life 2 ports and whatnot, or the Valve ports, or whatever the fuck they were. Flemlo Raps has been doing a lot of great content this week for football, so if you're a fan of football, check him out. But as far as YouTube videos, there's not much else this week that I think really caught my attention.
Yeah, it again, it's another slow time. I think, and it kind of sucks too because I know I see now that this situation's affecting a lot of things, and it's even affecting sports. But what I see happening now is a lot of these sports players are actually going on Twitch and like simulating the season's games through Twitch and like using them like to raise money to actually get medical supplies and stuff out. I think that's cool.
Luka
So,
Doncic.
but yeah, it's gonna be a slow burn time, but it's nice to see people just producing content out there, just saying like, look, here's a little something to just put your mind at ease about things a little bit. Maybe relax, enjoy something. That's you don't have to think about this for a little bit. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, some good content out there if you know where to look. So that's all I got for this week. You got anything else you want to mention?
No, not right now. I would let's see. I would say that I mean, we could go probably through our spiel and then I might mention something, but other than that, we can wrap it up if you want.
Twitch.tv/ComicandGamecorp. Follow us on Twitch and YouTube by searching Comic and Game Corp. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. On Instagram at Real Nerd Corp. We're on the website at realnerdcorp.com, REALNERDCORP.com. We are also on Podbean. If you want to download our shows and take them on the go, you can do so by going to realnerdcorp.podbean.com or by searching Real Nerd Corp on the mobile device for Podbean today. Matt, what are your personals?
You can find me on MNerdCorp on Twitch. I'll be streaming a little bit here soon. Maybe not tonight, but soon. I'm going to check out, I just got Doom Eternal in from Gamefly, and I'm going to check out the Resident Evil 3 demo, so I'm going to stream both of those. So be on the lookout for that. And I am also on Twitter at the same handle, MNerdCorp.
Stars. There's a fucking fight. Mr. X versus the goddamn Nemesis. Why can't we get nice things, Matt?
Because we're just not around nice people, apparently. I don't know.
Apparently. Yeah, so that's everything. You can find me on Chad Nerdcorp, CHADNERDCORP, on Twitter and on Instagram at real at nope. The Instagram for me is Chad's Photo at CDS. Nope. CHADS, there it is. CHADSPHOTOHUT. Stay safe, stay indoors, avoid people at all costs. Not that there's a virus or anything. I just think that's good advice for everyday life. Stay indoors, stay away from people.
Just be nice to people, man. Be nice to each other.
In a year, 10 years, 15 years, same advice as always. Stay indoors and stay away from people.
I've been doing it every day my entire life. This shit ain't quarantined for me, dude.
Matt is well adjusted to the lifestyle of being repulsive.
Nobody likes me. That's fine. I'm still here.
Matt, time to say goodnight.